Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of EXSIN Live. I'm Phil Nichols, my compadre, my business partner, my buddy, one of my best friends, Dave Evans, with another client right now. So you're stuck with me this morning. I'm going to talk about something that I think is really important. It's about how do owners of companies, leaders of organizations, who do they talk to? How do they get counsel? Who do they bounce things off of? You know, what can we do as leaders to make sure that we're getting the support and the guidance that we need? And I think it's something that people struggle with every day. Most people that start organizations, especially if you were a founder, you know, they find it very difficult to have somebody that they can just talk to. You know, we ask this question all the time when we're doing speaking engagements or at conferences or whatever, is who do CEOs talk to? Who do leaders of companies talk to? The answer most times is nobody, because they're on an island. So I think one thing I want to really encourage CEOs, owners, founders to do is get out, find those advisors, those support people that can be inside the organization or outside. Outside is usually more likely to occur because those inside, most times founders, owners aren't comfortable sharing their concerns, their fears, if you will, with people with inside the organization. But you got to have somebody that you can talk to about just day-to-day challenges within the organization. It could be financial challenges. It could be, you know, when you're growing a business quickly, one of the biggest challenges companies have is that it's cash flow problems, and that leads to a lot of stress for people that have to make payroll, that have to sign those checks every week, every 2 weeks. It's a stressful thing. You know, I can always tell somebody that is in a leadership role but isn't responsible for the P&L because they're never as stressed as much, right? You know, you see this a lot in organizations where revenue just comes in and they don't have to go create it. Or when you're growing, you know, you can have a huge top line number, but the bottom line number is tight because you're spending it as fast as you make it because you're going through all this growth. So really encourage CEOs, leaders of organizations to go find somebody that they can just talk to about the challenges and concerns that they have. You know, places you can find this, you know, there's great peer advisory groups out there. We lead a group called BIBO that Dave and I created several years ago. Bold entrepreneur and business owners, you know, they meet once a month. People come in, we give them part of their membership gets them a coaching visit per month as well, along with their fee to be a part of the BIBO board. I think we charge $300 a month to be a part of our BIBO board. It's just, you know, it's very, very important you go find these places. It could be somebody that you're friends with that owns a company that's outside of your market or outside of your industry that's going through similar experiences that you can create a relationship with. Go have lunch once a week or once a month or whatever you need. But you got to have these people that you can go talk to bounce ideas off of. It's extremely important. Remember, leaders have to be on. You know, leaders don't have the luxury of having a bad week. You know, you've got, even when the world's on fire around you, you've got to find a way to plug in and be positive and push the mission forward. It's just not an option as a leader to have bad days. It's just not. You've got to be the person that sets the tone for your organization. That's not always easy. And if you have these people that you can talk to, it's going to make it easier to get through those things. You know, there's a lot of problems, I think. Oh, I just saw we can barely hear me. I apologize. 1 second. Thanks, Matt. You had my back again. So we had a problem over there. We didn't push the right mic volume up. So I'll talk to my production guy when this is over about that. But thanks, Matt. Appreciate you telling me that. But talking about leaders and talking about CEOs, having an opportunity to there you go, brother. Talking about leaders, talking about CEOs, founders of businesses. Who do they talk to about their concerns, their challenges? Go out, if you're in that position, you got to find somebody outside the organization typically that you can bounce ideas off of, that you can talk about concerns with. We don't do enough for leaders in the business community to give them the support systems that they need. You know, if you think about it, most companies have advisory boards, right? They're usually unpaid advisory boards where people who believe in the mission of the company or who are believers of the founder or the owner of the company, they'll come together, meet with them once a month, once a quarter, whatever the case may be, to just go through these big items, right? To go through and figure out solutions. You know, encourage people to do that. It's extremely important. You may not have heard it, so I'm going to repeat it. You know, join a peer advisory group. We started peer advisory groups several years ago with EXSIN called BIBO, Bold Entrepreneur and Business Owners. We meet once a month. It comes with a coaching session as well. And then we get phone calls and emails throughout the month where people just, hey, working on this. What do you think about this? You know, those are the kind of things that can just give you that little bit of a check mark. Say, okay, I'm not the only one that feels this is a good idea, or, hey, I think this is a good idea. You run it by these people and they can say, well, have you thought about this, this, and this? Just gives you a sounding board, a place to go to make sure that you're walking strategy, walking tactics out confidently. So if you're a founder, an owner, a leader of any organization, make sure you have that support system there to get you through. And the last thing I'd say for our owners, our leaders, our founders, you know, give yourself a break once in a while, right? It's hard to shut it down. If you own an organization, you don't ever fully shut it down because you're always thinking about things. But you got to give yourself a place where it's a safe place. Some people it's a gym. Some people it's going fishing. Some people it's going golfing. Some people it's getting away with your wife or your husband and going out and just having a few hours away where you just leave the phone alone, leave it at the house or leave it in the vehicle or whatever. But you've got to give yourself breaks. And then the last thing I'd say that's extremely important for owners, make sure you plan in at least once a year, hopefully more than that, but at least once a year, a good solid 5 to 7 days minimum away from the business. Get away from the business, recharge. This is a hard one for me to do because I love what I do and I'm passionate about it. And so it's very difficult for me to take time away. We tried to go away I think we went away for 7 or 8 days this year, took a family, got all the kids, went to Mexico, and just got away. And after about day 3, I was okay the first couple days. Day 3, I started getting itchy, started thinking about stuff back home, started thinking about things I needed to do. And then before long, I broke a cardinal rule. I brought my laptop with me, so I had my laptop out. Next thing I know, I'm sending emails. You know, you've got to be careful about, you got to make sure you give yourself ample time to be away to recharge. Again, your organization is going to be better if you do this. You've got to have time away. One area where we see burnout a lot outside of the leadership teams is in the sales teams, and it's usually because they're not giving themselves enough breaks. They got to have some time away to recharge. It could be a couple hours in the afternoon during the week. We teach all of our sales teams, for the people we work with, our clients and their leadership teams, to have breakout blocks and buffer blocks built into your weeks to where you get time away. It could be an hour here, 30 minutes here, but you got to have that time so that you can recharge the battery so you can keep going as fast as you need to go. We're going to wrap it up short today. We've got a lot going on at EXSIN right now. I hope you guys are doing wonderfully well. Appreciate Matt joining us today and a few others. See you on there. Appreciate it. I can't read because I haven't got my glasses updated, and I'm old now, Matt, but I do appreciate what you guys are doing. I think it's extremely important as leaders of small businesses, mid-sized businesses, privately held companies. Remember, we're what makes this country grow. You got a responsibility to take care of yourself, to give yourself those tools and those breaks so that you can be strong and energetic and ready to go for all the people that are counting on you to lead the organization. So with that, Phil, Dave's here in spirit. We'll see you next time. We're out of here.